I'm Arthur Wolk, the founder of the Wolk Law Firm. The Wolk Law Firm is the only law firm that exclusively handles airplane and helicopter crash litigation. Because of that, all of our lawyers and all of our support staff have an in-depth knowledge of aircraft, helicopters, and the systems that operate them and fail that cause crashes. The technology in aviation has changed dramatically over recent years. We used to operate airplanes by gyroscopic instruments and what's called VOR navigation, where the information to the airplane came strictly from the ground. We've litigated cases involving aircraft that were equipped like that for decades. But the world is changing. The world consists today of advanced aircraft like the one we operate, this Eclipse EA-50, which has what's known as a glass cockpit. If you look at the cockpit of this airplane, unlike other airplanes you've seen where there are lots of dials and things, this airplane has 3 computer screens. Now we're going to activate those screens to give you some idea of the complexity that the modern pilot is faced with when operating an airplane with a glass cockpit. There's a tremendous amount of information that is displayed to the pilot, and therefore you can understand how critical it is that the lawyer who represents you has a complete and intimate and current understanding of how glass cockpits work, how they fail, and the impact of that failure on a pilot operating one of these aircraft. Remember, today, most general aviation airplanes are certified to fly with only one pilot. So all of the information for that pilot now comes from computer screens. If you just take a look at the screens that we've now activated, you can see that the screen in front of the pilot, called the pilot's flying display, has much of the critical information that used to be in 6 separate instruments on old airplanes. Speed of the aircraft, where the aircraft is relative to the earth, the altitude of the aircraft above sea level, whether the airplane is climbing or descending, what heading, what direction the airplane is flying. Information such as weather radar and traffic information, whether there are other airplanes in the vicinity, is all displayed on a single instrument in front of the pilot. Therefore, you can understand that unless your aviation lawyer completely understands how these systems interact and what happens when some of that information is lost, he can't possibly effectively handle an airplane crash as a result of the failure of one of these systems. In addition, the airplane itself talks to this screen. It displays its health to these screens so that the pilot gets information as to what is really happening to the airplane systems. Sometimes that information is so extensive that the pilot gets what's called overload. You want your air crash attorney to have understood that concept by having the experience himself in this cockpit with extensive training. At the Wolk Law Firm, for example, I hold an airline transport pilot's rating. That's the highest you can get. That's what the people who fly airliners have. For not only single-engine land and multi-engine land airplanes like this Eclipse jet, but also for single-engine sea and multi-engine seaplanes, a very unusual combination. Other lawyers in the firm also have type ratings and are airline transport pilots as well, or multi-engine pilots, single-engine pilots, flight instructors. We have qualified pilots who understand not only the old systems, but also the new systems, how they work, how they fail, how pilots react to them. Lily, our golden retriever, is the mascot of the Wolk Law Firm. We call her our co-pilot. She succeeded our beloved Boo, who sadly passed away earlier this year. But Lily has come to enjoy flying in the firm aircraft just like Boo did, and she is the light of our lives during the day and gives some happiness to our clients who come to visit. The information that is portrayed here, first on the pilot's flying display, then on the multi-function display, is critical for a pilot's safe operation of the airplane. Most of the airplanes have autopilots, and the autopilot is designed to be flown from slightly above the airport on takeoff to slightly above the airport on landing. As an aviation lawyer, you must appreciate the interaction and the interdependency of all of the information on these screens. For example, today, navigation is accomplished primarily through the Global Positioning System, GPS. So, in order to make the GPS function on this airplane, for example, if we were flying from Montgomery Field in San Diego, where we are, we'd have to insert a flight plan. So we're going to do that. MYF is the identifier for Montgomery Gibbs Field, where we are now. So now we're inserting our destination, which is Salina, Kansas, KSLN. But in order to get there, we have to have a route of flight. So the pilot has to be able to insert a known route of flight. In this case, we're going to put in the Julian VOR intersection here, JLI, and then we're going to modify that flight plan. Now, notice that when we've put the flight plan in, the airplane has already interpreted that flight plan, and it has given us a magenta arrow to our first intersection, which is the Julian VOR. Why is that important? Well, it shows you that this airplane has a great deal of automation, as all of these airplanes with glass cockpits do. We as pilots know to rely on that. So on takeoff, we're going to fly about 44 degrees to get to the Julian VOR. And then when we get there, it's going to automatically sequence to Salina. And this is going to move over to the right and take us directly to Salina. Why is this important that an aviation lawyer understand this system? Because if for some reason the airplane crashes because of what appears to be a navigational error, the quick and unfair reaction is, oh, the pilot messed up. But the reality is loss of GPS signal, aircraft computer breakdown, loss of the multifunction display. All of these separate items can cause navigational information to be lost to the pilot. So in order to fully understand, investigate, and come to a careful, reasoned conclusion as to what caused the accident, an aviation lawyer has to look at this, and it has to be second nature to him. Everyone at the Wolk Law Firm has this knowledge and experience. Everyone at the Wolk Law Firm understands glass cockpits. The Wolk Law Firm has been a pioneer in litigating aircraft accidents where glass cockpits have been involved. The Wolk Law Firm is very proud of the work we've done over the last 50 years. We've handled hundreds and hundreds of airplane accident cases. We are the standard by which other aviation lawyers are judged. We're the aviation law firm that other aviation lawyers go to seek advice on their own cases. If we had our hopes come true, there wouldn't be any airplane accidents. But unfortunately, there still are. And for as long as there are, the Wolk Law Firm will be there to help.